The fight that could electrify the entire boxing landscape. The matchup that has casual fans and die-hard hardcore supporters alike refreshing their browsers every single hour is not stuck because of an injury, not because of promoter feud, and certainly not because either man is backing down from the actual violence of the ring. It is being held hostage by ink on paper. Contract clauses, dry, legal, seemingly boring fine print are the only things standing between us and what might be the most compelling, high-stakes bout of the year. And the longer this drags on, the more it feels like we are watching a slow-motion collision where nobody wants to blink first. To understand why this is such a massive deal, you have to look at the two men in the center of the storm. Shakur Stevenson is a kind of fighter who makes the sweet science look like chess played at lightning speed. He is meticulous, technically flawless, and he has built his career on proving that size and power are not the only paths to dominance. Ryan Garcia, on the other hand, is a different breed entirely. A massive pay-per-view draw with explosive power, a massive following, and a physical frame that has always set him apart in the lighter divisions. When you put those two names in the same sentence, the boxing world lights up. But right now, that light is flickering, because Stevenson and Garcia cannot agree on how much Ryan should be allowed to weigh on the night of the fight. The entire mess ignited not in a press conference, not behind closed doors in a lawyer's office, but right there on social media where all modern combat sports drama seems to live or die these days. Stevenson publicly accused Garcia of being a weight bully. That phrase carries weight, pun intended, in boxing circles. It means a fighter who uses the official scale to drain himself to a limit, then rehydrates to a massive size advantage before stepping into the ring, essentially turning a fair fight into a mismatch of bulk versus drained-out skill. Shakur has made it clear, if this fight is going to happen at 147 pounds, there must be a rehydration clause that caps how heavy Garcia can be when the opening bell rings. Here's where the rubber meets the road, and where the negotiations have turned into a stalemate. Stevenson is not asking for a small adjustment. He has suggested that Garcia could walk into the arena weighing around 160 pounds, or that they agree to a hard ceiling of 170 pounds on fight night. For a fight contracted at 147, that might sound reasonable to some. But for Garcia, it is a line in the sand he has absolutely no intention of crossing. Garcia's response was immediate, unequivocal, and delivered with a kind of finality that shuts down negotiation tables. He stated plainly that he will never be on a rehydration clause again, and that he does not need 20 or 30 extra pounds to dismantle Shakur Stevenson. He will beat him straight up under any fair conditions, but he will not be shackled by weight restrictions that he believes handicap him before the first punch is even thrown. This is not just stubbornness. It is rooted in a very real, very recent scar from his career. To understand Ryan's hardline stance, you have to rewind to 2023 in his fight against Gervonta Davis. That bout included specific weight stipulations that limited how much Garcia could weigh on the night of the contest. In the aftermath, Garcia has been vocal that those restrictions affected him physically and mentally, and he believed they played a part in the outcome that night. Now, facing a similar demand from Stevenson's camp, he is drawing a firm boundary. His position is simple: remove the rehydration clause, and the fight moves forward. Keep it in, and there is nothing to discuss. This is where the business of boxing collides with the brutality of it. Rehydration clauses exist for a reason. Between the official weigh-in, usually the day before or morning of the fight, and fight night, fighters can regain a staggering amount of weight. For some, it is 30, 40, even 50 pounds of water, muscle, and mass. That swing can turn a competitive matchup into a dangerous mismatch, especially when one fighter is naturally larger or carries his weight differently. Stevenson, the challenger looking to cement his legacy against a bigger name, sees this as a necessary protection. He is not just fighting Garcia. He is fighting the potential of stepping into the ring against a man who has ballooned to a middleweight size while he remains drained and depleted. But Garcia's refusal taps into a deeper current in the sport. The idea that fighters should not be punished for their natural size or their ability to manage their bodies. He argues that if he has to make 147, he will make it, but he will not be told he cannot rehydrate to a healthy, strong weight that allows him to perform at his best. To him, the clause is not a safety measure. It is a constraint designed to neuter his physical advantages, and he is done accepting it. The standoff creates a fascinating psychological chess match. Stevenson, the technician, wants every variable controlled. He wants to know that on fight night, he is not walking into a buzzsaw of size and strength that the scales did not account for. Garcia, the power puncher with a massive fan base, wants freedom over his own body and refuses to be boxed in by contractual fine print that he feels cost him before. It is a clash of philosophies as much as it is a clash of styles. For the fans, this is torture of the most delicious kind. On paper, Stevenson versus Garcia has everything. Youth talent, contrasting approaches, and a promotional angle that writes itself. Every day that passes without a signed contract builds the anticipation, but also fuels the anxiety that the fight might slip away entirely, swallowed by the very bureaucracy meant to protect the athletes. Boxing has a long, painful history of megafights falling apart over money, drug testing, or venue disputes, but it is rare to see one hinging solely on a weight limit for fight night. What makes this particularly gripping is that both men have the leverage to walk away. Stevenson is a pound-for-pound king, rising hungry, and with plenty of other options that might not carry the same baggage. Garcia is a pay-per-view magnet. He does not necessarily need this fight to fill his calendar or his bank account, even if it would be a massive event. When neither side desperately needs the other, the power dynamic shifts and ego, along with principle, takes the steering wheel. The clock is ticking, even if nobody is publicly admitting it. Promoters are waiting, networks are holding slots, and fans are growing more restless by the hour. If a resolution does not surface soon, the momentum could die, and the fight that everyone is desperate to see might become another, what could have been footnote in boxing history. That would be a shame, because outside of the legal jargon and the social media posturing, this is a matchup that deserves to happen. Two elite fighters at the peak of their relevance, with something real to prove, should not be kept apart by a number on a scale 24 hours after the weigh-in. Yet here we are, staring at the abyss of a missed opportunity, all because one camp wants a safeguard and the other camp wants autonomy. Stevenson believes he is simply asking for a level playing field, protecting himself from a potential size disadvantage that could turn the ring into a nightmare. Garcia believes he is standing up for his own physical and mental well-being, refusing to repeat a mistake that he feels already cost him dearly. Both perspectives are valid. Both are understandable. But in boxing, understanding does not always lead to agreement. Until that clause is removed, or until Garcia capitulates, which seems increasingly unlikely, or until Stevenson adjusts his demands, the fight remains in limbo. And every day it stays there, the boxing world holds its breath, hoping that common sense, or maybe just the smell of massive payday money, will push both sides to find a middle ground. Because at the end of the day, the fans do not care about the fine print. They care about the action. And right now, the only action is the war of words over weight limits. One thing is certain. If these two do eventually step into the ring, the build-up to it will be unlike anything we have seen in years. Not just for the talent involved, but for the drama of how close it came to never happening. The contract clauses might be derailing the fight today, but they are also fueling a narrative that makes the eventual collision, should it occur, feel inevitable and explosive. For now, though, all we can do is watch, wait, and wonder if principle will stand in the way of one of the most exciting nights boxing could offer. The ball is still in the air and nobody knows exactly where it will land, but the whole world is watching to see who blinks first.